CD recap. Yeah, this is just basically showing all the CDs I got in my collection thus far. And to begin with, yeah, so let's get started. Starting from the top, this is Tribe's recent and last studio album. We got it from here. Thank you for the service, released in 2016. Very, very, very good album. This album right here, this really is a certifiable classic in my opinion. Like they all got back together before Fife's death and dropped a gem of a project. Like very dope project right here. Rest in peace to Fife Dog. You guys, I think YouTube blocked my review of this project. I might have to do another review, but who knows? But yeah, very dope songs like Space Program, This Generation, Kids. If you're a Tri fan, you'll greatly appreciate this project. Then we have Boys to Men 2, released in 1994. Very dope R&B album. Just my opinion, their best album, my opinion. I think this is actually their best selling too. Singles albums known for are "I'll Make Love to You," "Water Runs Dry," "Bend the Knee." I believe "Vibing" was a single. Yeah, Boys to Men 2. Then we got Nas with Godson, released in 2002. Very dope album, in my opinion. This is like a release like one of the darkest periods of his life when his mom was dying of breast cancer and stuff like that. So the album kind of like had a dark, somber tone to it. Singles that I was known for are I think "Made You Look" was a single. Let me think. Yeah, "I Can" was a single. Thug's Mansion, which I hate that song. Yeah, very dope album from Nas. Kind of slept on if you ask me. Then we have the Ohio Players with Honey, released in 1975. Very, very, very good album. This is, in my opinion, the best album, in my opinion. I love that the album artwork. Like this album artwork is so iconic and shit. Singles I was known for are "Sweet Sticky Thing," "Love Roller Coaster." Yeah, I think those are the two only singles. Yeah, this album they really like went kind of like a little jazzy with this album, but yeah, still a very dope album. Love it, funky. Then we got Outkast with Southern Playalistic Cadillac Music, released in 1994. This is their debut album. Very dope album, classic album, groundbreaking album. Like they put Atlanta on the map and shit like that. Singles I was known for are Southern Playalistic Cadillac Music, Players Ball, Get Up and Get Out. Oh yeah, very dope album and shit. Did I do? I don't think I done a review on this album, which I'm surprised I haven't. So stay tuned. Then we have the Fugees with the Score, released in 1996. This is the second and last studio album. Hip hop classic. This album right here is very, very, very dope. Singles I was known for are "Ready or Not," "Fujila," "Killing Me Softly," and yeah, I think that's it. Like this album really is so versatile, combining reggae, hip hop, soul, like very dope album and shit like that. Must have in your collection. Then we have Prince with um, stay tuned on that one. And then we have Prince with Love Sexy, released in 1988. To be honest with you, when I first heard this album, I did not like it one bit. But then, like over the years, I was re-listening to the album over the years, and it was probably like maybe 2 years ago that it kind of did grow on me and shit like that. So it's just that I thought that the production was way too polished and shit. But other than that, this album right here is a very dope album. Singles I was known for are "Alphabet Street," "I Wish You Heaven," okay, "Glam Slam." Yeah, very dope album and shit. It is a very unique and shit. Probably a lot of people say this is like one of his last great albums, which I might have to agree, but at the same time, it's Prince. So then we have Dead Prez with "Let's Get Free," released in 2000. Very good album and shit like that. This album, when it was released in 2000, it was like a breath of fresh air because it was basically like a reminiscent of like Public Enemy and Boogie Down Productions, like the conscious hip hop. Cause by like 2000, the Rough Riders was taking over, the South was taking over. So yes, singles albums known for I think were hip hop, and I believe Mind Sakes was a single. But yeah, I have to definitely do a review on this album and shit. I did not even know Lord Jamar put them on until I saw the Brand Nubian unsung. So that shit crazy. Then we have Tupac, well, aka Machiavelli, the Don Killuminati 7-Day Theory, released in 1996. Very, very, very good album. This album I kind of like better than All Eyes on Me and shit like that. It was like more darker, more personal. Like this was released I think about a couple weeks after his death and shit. So yeah, singles albums known for are what singles? To Live or Die in L.A., Toss It Up, and yeah, I believe those are all the singles and shit like that. Yeah, very dope album and shit like that. Must have in your collection. And then we have what's up, Vinyl? How you doing, bro? Then we got Led Zeppelin 3, released in 1970. This again was another album that left me with a mixed reaction because this is the album they kind of went the acoustic guitars with and stuff like that. But over the years, I've re-listened to the album and I actually do like the album and shit like that. It has like a very melodic, like sunset kind of vibe with it and shit like that. Singles albums known for are Immigrant Song, I believe Braun Wires was a single and shit like that. Yeah, so I think yeah, I've done a review on this album and shit like that. And if I'm not mistaken, this is actually the OG copy and shit. Cause I know they re-released all the albums, so this is definitely a classic album. Then we got Streets is Watching soundtrack, released in 1998. This was promoted a documentary that of the time, very dope documentary. I need to really see that shit again. I need to find that shit, but yeah, I know that's long out of print. Very dope soundtrack and shit. To me, this was like the precursor to the Dynasty album, if you ask me. Singles I was known for are what was the single? It's Alright. I think that was the only single that was from this project. But yeah, this project has like a lot of gems on this shit. You have like Jay, Memphis Bleak, MOP, very good album and shit. If you can find it, cop this shit. Then we got my boy Solomon Starr with Eternal Life. This was released in 2009. Solomon Starr is an MC. I actually met him when I went to New York back in 2012 and shit like that. And he actually like gave me two of his albums and shit. I have to be honest with you. I have to actually re-listen to this album and stuff. So it's been a while since I actually heard this. But Solomon Starr, if you listen to his music and shit, very dope artist. Then we have the Lost Boys with Love, Peace, and Happiness, released in 1997. Very, very, very dope album. This album, in my opinion, is my second favorite album from them, behind Legal Drug Money, which I need to get in my collection. I found this album FYE. I think it was about $6, and I was like, yes, I'm copping this shit. Singles I was known for are Me and My Crazy World, Love, Peace, and Happiness. Beast from the East, very dope posse cut right there. Yeah, this album is not as like dark as Legal Drug Money, but at the same time, it has like a more late 90s kind of sound to it, but it's still grimy and shit. Very dope out project. And if you can hear what's playing in the background, I got the internet with the Ego Death album. This was released in 2015. Very good album. Love this album and shit like that. Internet, very dope group. They're affiliated with Odd Future and shit. I think singles I believe were Girl, and I think Getaway and shit like that. I agree, Von. This is a very dope album. I need to get more of that album, and I can't wait for the new album that they're dropping and shit. So then we got Tupac with All Eyes on Me, released in 1996. This is the album that was his first on Death Row. This is a very good album. I'll give it to you. Don't worry. Don't get me wrong. I love this album. But I don't consider it to be his best album and shit like that. That honor goes to Me Against the World. But I'm not going to deny its impact and shit like that. Singles albums known for are All About You, How Do You Want It, Two of America's Most Wanted, California Love. But the remix is only on this album because, the original version was released in 95, like late 95. I Ain't Mad at Ya. Yeah. Very good album and shit like that. Must have in your collection. Then might get some raised eyebrows from this one, but I got Will Smith, Big Willie Style, released in 1998. This is his first solo album. I'm not gonna front. This is a dope album. I don't care what nobody says. This is the pop rap I know it's pop rap and shit like that, but the production is so dope and shit like that. This is that kind of like writing kind of music and shit, if you ask me. Singles albums known for are Getting Jiggy With It, Miami, Men in Black, Just the Two of Us. Love that song, by the way. Candy. Yeah, this is a very good album and shit. I needed to get some more DJ Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince albums, but and I only got this for like $1 anyway, so yeah. Then we got Aaliyah with Age Ain't Nothing But a Number, released in 1994. Very dope album and shit like that. This was produced by R. Kelly. I know. Oh yeah, he a fucking weirdo and shit, but I'm not gonna deny his just dope talents and shit like that. Singles albums known for are Back and Forth, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number, At Your Best You Are Love, which is the cover of the Ozzy Brothers song. What else? I think I said Back and Forth, yeah. Like, this album, very dope, but if you ask me, I prefer One in a Million. That's, in my opinion, her best album and shit. Which I need to get my hands on her other two albums. I mean, I see it in stores all the time, but I just been lazy and shit. It's kind of crazy how this is the only album that's only on Spotify and shit, which is crazy. But considering the fan base Aaliyah has, you would think all of albums to be on Spotify. But then we have Nas with Nostradamus, released in 1999. This album was not supposed to even come out because, if you guys should know, I Am was supposed to be a double disc album, but thanks Steve Stout though. But stay tuned more on that. Stay tuned on my thoughts on that because I'm planning on doing the album by album thread of the Kanye albums after I hear all of them. So stay tuned on my thoughts on the new Nas album. But yeah, with this album, it's not his best album, but it's not his worst. I feel like this album is very underrated. I think this album even kind of aged a little bit better recent times and shit like that. It's just that the commercialism was just and shit. But singles I was known for are Nostradamus, oh my god, and You Owe Me. But yeah, this is a very good okay album and shit like that. Yeah, Vinyl, stay tuned on my thoughts on that. Then we got Kool Keith, aka Dr. Octagon, Dr. Octagonologist, released in 1996. This is my favorite Kool Keith solo album next to Black Elvis. This is a classic album. It is dark, it is psychedelic, it's trippy as hell. Like, and it's crazy because I have to admit something. I was a fan of Kool Keith, but at the time I was not a fan of the Ultramagnetic MCs like that. But it was not paid maybe until like 2 years ago I got into Ultramatic and MCs. It's kind of weird like that, but singles I was known for are you talking about the Ultra project? Oh wait, that's the more Tim Dog. What's the name of that project, Break Digger? 3000 Earth People and Blue Flowers. Very dope project, very trippy as hell and shit like that. Must have in your collection. Then we got the Jacksons Live, released in 1981, I believe. This was just a live concert. Oh no, I haven't heard that, but I'm gonna definitely check that album out. This was like during the time when they were had like a comeback and shit like that. Then like no, during like the Jacksons. It is a collector's item. I don't even think it's really in print like that, but yeah. Then we have Nirvana with Unplugged in New York, released in 1994. Very good album from Nirvana. This was like the last. This was really like ironically the first posthumous release because this was released about I think 2 months after Kurt Cobain died and shit like that. Yeah, very dope album. Some highlights are the cover of The Man Who Sold the World, the version of All Apologies, which I prefer the version of All Apologies than in Utero, but not I like the version on Utero too. But yeah, very dope album. And then you have Nirvana's second album, Nevermind, released in 1991. What can I say about this album? This is a iconic album, the grunge movement and shit like that. Singles albums known for are Smells Like Teen Spirit, Come As You Are, Lithium, In Bloom. Yeah, very good album and shit. Must have in your collection. Then I got the first 5 Run DMC albums and shit. Right here I got Run DMC's first album, the self-titled release in 1984. Classic album and shit like that. Singles albums known for are, I believe, Sucker MC's It's Like That, Rock Box. Yeah, this album right here ushered in like a new era of hip hop and shit. And it's crazy too because this is actually the earliest hip hop album I actually own and shit, so that's kind of crazy. Then I have King of Rock, released in 1985. This album was okay. I wasn't really too big on this album and shit like that. It had some decent cuts, but it was in. Singles I was known for are You Talk Too Much, I believe, King of Rock, and I think Can You Rock It Like This. Yeah, I need to really re-listen to this album and shit. Then we have Raising Hell, released in 1986. Classic album, one of the greatest hip hop albums ever, one of the most important hip hop albums ever, and shit like that. Singles albums known for, It's Tricky, Walk This Way, the cover of the Aerosmith song and shit. My Adidas, like, this was definitely a groundbreaking shit. Then we have Tougher Than Leather, released in 1987. This is, in my opinion, my personal favorite album from Run DMC. This album right here, this sound was like a lot more street with this album and shit. Singles albums, I think singles are, damn, I can't hardly see this shit, but Run's House, Mary Mary, and I believe Beats to the Rhyme, which is probably one of my favorite Run DMC songs. Yeah, expect a review on these albums and shit. Then we have Back From Hell, released in 1990. This album, they kind of went for like a New Jack Swing kind of sound and shit. This album was okay. I'll give you that. It was okay. The singles album is known for, damn, what the hell is the track list in it? I know like Pause was a single and shit. Yeah, I have to probably listen to this album and shit. So all I'm missing basically is their last 2 albums, and I'll basically have all their albums. Then we have Pink Floyd with Animals, released in 1977. This is a highly slept on album. One of my favorite Pink Floyd albums to date. Like this album, it was based off I think the book. What was the book? Animal Farm, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, very good album and shit like that. This is probably my second favorite album from them. Of course, my first being Dark Side of the Moon. Then we have Gangstar with Daily Operation, released released in 1992. Very dope album and shit like that. I might have to cut this video short and do the second part probably like an hour because I had to charge my phone a little bit. But yeah, very good album and shit. This album they went for like a more political kind of vibe with it. Singles album is known for Ex Girl to Next Girl, Take It Personal. I believe Too Deep was a single and shit. So yeah, very good album. Definitely, I'm actually planning on re-reviewing all the albums. But I'm waiting on a copy of No More Mr. Nice Guy and shit. So stay tuned on that. Then we got Nas with Illmatic, released in 1994. This is the 10th anniversary edition and shit like that. Um, very. This is a classic hip hop album. I don't even need to explain myself with this album and shit. So, singles are Life's a Bitch, The World Is Yours, Halftime, Memory Lane, One Love, It Ain't Hard to Tell. Like, this album is very influential and shit. One of the best hip hop albums ever. Then we got Anthony Hamilton with What I'm Feeling. This is his recent album, I believe, released in 2013. This is a very dope album and shit like that. I believe this was his first album since 2008, The Point of It All, which I need to get in my collection. Yeah, very dope album. I believe the singles were What I'm Feeling and Never Letting Go. Yeah, Anthony Hamilton, definitely a very dope singer and shit. And then we have T.I. with T.I. versus T.I.P. released in 2007. This is a very slept on album in my opinion. This was released around a time before like when he actually got arrested for the gun possession and shit. Cause this was released after like his friend got killed and shit. Singles I was known for are Big Things Poppin', You Know What It Is, Hurt. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people don't like this album, which I'm not surprised because this album was like a lot more darker than his previous ones. But me personally, this was the first T.I. album I owned. This album and the King album was what made me a fan and shit like that. So, yeah. Then this is an album I recently found because I thought I lost this album. So, Lil Wayne, The Carter 3, released in 2008. Yeah, I misplaced this album. I just recently found it when I moved to my apartment. So, in my opinion, I'm not gonna admit. I'm gonna admit I actually like this album. Like I know a lot of people don't like Lil Wayne. I'm not really the biggest Lil Wayne fan today. I prefer like this is like his last great studio album and shit. But this album right here though, very dope. Love the production. Um, yeah, the Carter 2, I love the Carter 2 too. I need to get my hands on that one. Singles albums known for are Got Money, A Milli, Lollipop, Tie My Hands. Yeah. But my favorite song on this project, Dr. Carter, like he just went in on that shit, but yeah. This was like the really last great album because when he dropped that rock album, I was like, yeah, I'm not fucking with that. Then we got Outkast with Aquemini, released in 1998. Very good album and shit like that. Classic. This is maybe my favorite Outkast album. Singles I was known for are Rosa Parks, The Art of Storytelling Part 1. The remix with Slick Rick though, classic in my opinion. Yeah, very dope album and shit like that. Must have in your collection. Then we got Pete Rock and CL Smooth with Mecca and the Soul Brother, released in 1992. This album right here, I gotta admit to you guys, I like this album, but I do find this album a tad bit overrated. It's a tad bit. I prefer. I'm not denying the album's greatness, but the main ingredient, I felt like that's the magnum opus. But singles albums known for are When They Reminisce Over You, Lots of Lovin', classic song in my opinion, Straighten It Out. Yeah, this is a very good album. I love this album, but it is like, it's not. I'm just gonna explain more when I do a review on the main ingredient. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Then I'm just gonna review probably like a couple more. Then I'm gonna have to charge my phone. So this is Metallica with Master of Puppets, released in 1986. Their best album, in my opinion. This album to me was like a thrash metal classic. I need to get some more thrash metal albums and shit, like some Anthrax, like Megadeth, especially like the Rest in Peace album. Singles album is known for. Actually, this album didn't even come out with singles, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah. This is Metallica at their most grimiest, their darkest. But like, yeah, this album and Ride the Lightning are my favorite albums from Metallica. Then we have Jodeci with Diary of a Madman, released in 1993. This is the best album. If you guys watch this channel, you guys should know how much I love this album. Like, Devontae's production, Casey and JoJo's vocals, like, they were on another shit. Like, 1993 was the year that New Jack Swing died, and R&B had to step their game up, like, with that year and shit. But singles are Fiendin', You Got It, I believe. Let me see. My Heart, Cry For You too, yeah. Very dope album and shit. This album is my favorite. Then it will have to be their first album and shit. Stay tuned on my thoughts on the third album though. So then we got my boy David Bowie with that Station to Station, released in 1976. Very good album and shit. This album right here is my favorite David Bowie album. This is the album that not a lot of people talk about for some odd reason, but it is what it is. Singles albums known for are Golden Years, and I believe Stay was a single. But yeah, this was the beginning of the Thin White Duke era. It's like an album, it's like funky, it's soulful, it rocks hard and shit like that. I believe he did, hold on, let me check. I believe so, but I actually have to double check on that one. But yeah, very dope album and shit. Must have in your collection and shit. I need to get my hands on some Berlin era albums and shit. But then we have Kendrick Lamar with To Pimp a Butterfly, released in 2015. Yeah, I love this album. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I love this album. This is probably my favorite Kendrick Lamar album. Like, the day this album was released, everybody just went crazy for this album. It was just once in a lifetime and shit. But singles album is known for King Kunta, These Walls, Alright, The Black of the Berry, How Much a Dollar Costs, I believe Complexion. Like, this is a must-have in your collection if you're a Kendrick fan. Like, yeah. Cool G Rap with 456, released in 1995, the year I was born. Yeah, this is a very good album and shit. This is his first solo album away from DJ Polo, and ironically, this is the last album that was on Cold Chillin'. Singles albums known for are It's a Shame and Fast Life. Like, this went for like a more mafioso, more darker outlook and shit. So his lyricism on this album though, bar none. Then we have Jay-Z with 444, released in 2017, last year. This album, very dope album in my opinion. Stay tuned for more of that. Then we have Outkast with Stankonia, released in 2000. This is the very cool album from Outkast. This is an album where you can kind of say it was like more of like a more mainstream appeal to it, but it is what it is, however you want to call it. Singles are So Fresh, So Clean, Miss Jackson, excuse me. Yeah, I think there was another single. Oh, Bombs Over Baghdad, excuse me. Yeah, this is, believe it or not, like, this was actually the first album I actually made a burnt copy of for myself, so, yeah, I need to do a review on this album. And the last album I'm just going to show you guys is Traffic, the Low Spark of the High Heeled Boys, released in 1973. Very dope album. This is a very psychedelic album and shit like that. This album, singles are The Low Spark of the High Heeled Boys, and I believe Rainmaker was a single. Yeah, very good album. Must have in your collection and shit if you're a Traffic fan. Yeah, this is actually the 2002 reissue, so yeah. And that's all the album I want to show you guys. I'll be back probably like an hour. Peace.